Hey copper nerds, let's do a deep dive into one of my favorite large cents, the 1794 Sheldon 35. This is an exceptionally cool, rare variety, so let's dive right into it. So mine is not exactly a beauty queen, but it is extremely diagnostic. If you see that north to south bisecting crack, which offsets on multiple planes. We'll try and discuss that a little bit later, but you can actually almost just see it on my example here. The die sunk on this side, which would raise the surface on this side of the break. This side is lower, and you can see that right below the ear, that it's lower on the toothpick side right now. But the opposite happened at the top. It sank on this side. This side is higher on the crack, and this side is lower. So it's lower, higher, and then it switches back again at the bottom, where it's higher on this side, lower on that side, because the die sunk here, and then resulting in a raised surface lower there. Now I think this was more of a buckle than sinking in the middle. I think we had a sink and a sink and a little bit of a buckle here. But very interesting diagnostics. Let's jump into the books. Starting off with the Powers Guide. This is a single berry variety, all of which are rare. This is a Rarity 5 coin. Massive die crack is diagnostic. Don't confuse it with Sheldon 49. Perfect die states exist but are rare. R is higher than the E and the T. You can really see what I was talking about here with the die sinking and offset. Clearly the side of the coin is higher from the die sinking and this side is lower. The reverse, and then switch back. Top and bottom are the same right there. Reverse again, the single berry, which is very cool. Usually there's two berries right there. And the bottom of the bow is offset to the left. Yeah, it sure is. The bow is shifted left relative to the knot, and it's got a pretty big old knot right there. A small die scratch protrudes from the end of the left stem. See if I can find you a close-up of that. Leaf position below CA in America helps differentiate this from the next. Reverse. Yeah, which is also a single berry. Single berries are always rare. If you see a single berry reverse coin and you can cherry pick it, just grab it, figure out the rest later. Every single one of them will be a rare variety. Let's see what we have for updates in the new Powers Attribution Guide. Sheldon 35. Here we are. Let's see. We have a little bit of die state information, relative pricing information. We don't have any inset close-ups like we see there. Fairly similar between the two. Our descriptions might be a little bit different. And it is, the descriptions have changed, but nothing drastically different. Next up, as always, Breen's Encyclopedia. Sheldon 35. Such a cool variety. Here we are. slender lowest lock. Look at that, it sure is slender. And single berry. Lowest lock is more delicate than on any other 1794. A narrow shoulder loop. The cheek is quite round, much like our apple cheeks on Sheldon 24. LI and ERT were first punched too high, then corrected. Interesting. RTY are high. Looking at the reverse, there's some die state information. Condition census, look at that. None in mint state. Top pop's an extra fine. Second top is a very fine. Wow. We're down to a fine 12 by the end here. Okay, let's jump in to look at those condition census examples in William Noyes' book. Sheldon, right to it and right to mine. Look at that. There we are. That is the same coin. I wonder if I can improve on my lighting situation here at all. Is that going to get us anything? That's a little bit better. Anyway, center example is the same coin. Came from the Wes Rasmussen collection. It is, looks like tied for 23rd, 4th, and 5th. Not too shabby, eh? But one of the higher sharpness grade examples out there, I would say, just gets massive deducts for all that heavy pitting. Also check out how nicely it shows off that sunken reverse. I think it's a wonderfully diagnostic example myself. And, but let's back up. Let's back all the way up. All right. Sheldon 35, delicate lower lock, single berry, as we talked about. We've got some die state information, which we'll look at more closely in Heck's book, but here is some quick overview. See they're perfect and perfect. And at the bottom, that's where our crack starts to develop and progress. And I think mine is this die state right there, roughly. I don't think I have the internal cud that forms just under the ear. Do I? I don't think so. There's a little bit of circulation and of course that pitting that obscures things a little bit. But there's our top pop, AU50 choice. Second from best is a very fine 35. Second finest is a very fine 30. By the bottom of the first page, we're down to a fine 15 net grade. And by the bottom of the second page, we're down to some net 10s, or a net 10, a couple of 12s. By the next page, we're holding pretty strong on 10 for a while, ending with 7. And from 7 down to, look at mine, a 20 net 5 scudsy. I'll take it. I love this coin. So, a bit of a challenging coin to get in a decent grade. None of these are particularly nice looking. Or, that one's pretty nice looking, but no real diagnostic. It does not have the north-south crack. I can't imagine getting one of these examples that didn't have that really cool bisecting crack. I like the look of that one. Good Lord, that one's hideous. That's a nice coin right there. And of course the top pops are wonderful, and the only one that is uncirculated is in the ANS, so you can't get that one. None available in mint state to collectors. As for the die states, jumping into Chuck Heck's book, Sheldon 35. Hey Chuck. Oh, I missed the index entirely. I got distracted by Chuck. Page 90. here we are. Sheldon 35. We're starting off. No cracks, cuts, or clash marks. The discussion about some of those letters having been repunched. We start to get a little crack from the bottom right there. That was in die state 2. Die state 3, we have some clash marks, which are, tough to see. Now, die state 4, we get the bisecting crack. Oh, die state 5, things just develop further. Die state 6, there's a crack that goes through the cap. And, wow, that gets pretty dramatic. Mine has had that crack right there tooled off. Kind of see that there's something happening behind the cap there. One of the old auction catalogs talks about how that crack had been tooled off, which is unfortunate, but it doesn't present, that egregiously. You just kind of think it's wear, but tooling, apparently. Die state 7, we get some more clash marks, and look how that crack through the cap starts to pick up some offset. That's really neat. Die state 8, crack from the shoulder loop going up through the hair. This is wild. Look, we got this big bisecting break there, the crack coming in through the cap, and then this crack going through the hair. Such a cool variety. Okay, what I think we'll do is I will show you several photos of my example because I'm very, very proud of it and its pedigree. In fact, let me grab the Rasmussen catalog real quick. The Wes Rasmussen collection and Sheldon 35. What am I up to? 20, 34, another 34. There it is. Scarce Sheldon 35 cent. And high rarity 5, later die state, prominent bisecting crack. Another crack through the cap has been very lightly tooled away, which was a rather common practice in the late 19th and early 20th centuries to tool away die cracks as they were considered less than desirable, which is crazy. This particular coin is pockmarked on each side with numerous small planchet voids. Ooh, I wonder if they are planchet voids versus environmental damage. I hadn't actually considered that they were planchet issues and not caused by environmental damage. I'm gonna have to look at that closer. Okay, additionally scratched through the base of L and Liberty, etc. Bulge in the center of the reverse obliterates most of 1 cent. And then it says corroded. I think that is actually corrosion pits, not planchet related issues. But a coin that I'm very, very proud to own. One of the favorites in my collection. I really, really like the diagnostics of that die crack. So cool. All right. Thank you for checking this one out. Feel free to hit me up in the comments, and I will catch you in the next one. Peace.